what was your impression of women before you got married? When you think about women, or when you think about wives, when you were thinking about having a wife, what was the impression? What was going on in your heart, when you were thinking of wife?
Wow, that's a very loaded question. For me, because I grew up in Nigeria, I came over to UK when I was in my early 20s, and a little bit of story into how I grew up. I grew up in a broken home, so my dad and my mom, they divorced way earlier than I didn't get to see my mom and dad. So for me, the struggle, I would say, was from the early stage, because I was with my mom, and as you guys can testify to, back then when there's an issue between husband and wife, the kids, unfortunately, the ones that kind of like that suffers the pain. So it's like when two elephants are fighting, the grass always suffers. So I say all that to say this, that okay, when we grew up in Nigeria, we was like, okay, the understanding then was, as a young man, okay, what you do, you are in charge, you control, you tell, what's the word I'm looking for now? Like, my understanding of a woman is, look, when I marry you, I provide and I protect you. So don't worry, you don't have to worry about anything. So until I got married, I got married, like I said earlier, going to 10 years now. My early 30s. So going
So
into that,
sorry, let me quickly say this. So before you got married, when you thought about your wife, what you had in mind was somebody to protect,
yes,
somebody you can kind of look after, somebody you want to, at least you feel this is your own, so you have to look after her. Okay,
absolutely.
that was what you're good. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, okay. That's what I was trying to say, because I went into it thinking, okay, um, as a man, my first role is to provide and protect for my family, but at the same time, I went into it feeling like I don't want to say I can do anything and get away with it, because growing up in Nigeria, that's the mentality as a man, that I don't want to say do anything and get away with it, but we just like to, what's what I'm looking for, like being in charge, being in
Okay.
control. We don't want to be told what to do.
Okay.
And I saw the consequence of that very early into my marriage, because looking back now, like I said, it was the grace of God that has actually carried me through. Looking back now, I see and I understand why some marriages don't work at a very early stage. Because the first 2 3 years of my marriage, I can sit here and say, I could have done better. And what do I mean by that? The way I grew up is different to the way my wife grew up. My wife had her mom and her dad, because so she used to the family ways of growing up. Because I grew up in a broken home, I feel like, yeah, whatever, I can do anything and I get away with it. And that caused a big issue at a very early stage. So, and it got to a point I was saying to myself, I don't want my kids to go through what I went through, because I saw the impacts that had on me, even up until now. I don't know if you remember that conversation. We've had that conversation before. I'm happy that you were part of the journey. You knew me when I was before I got married as a single guy to where I'm at right now. So I said to myself that at an early stage, I don't want the kids to go through what I went through. So it was challenging. It was challenging because then I'm the guy that just like to come home, instead of spending time at home with my wife, because that's what she's used to, and I'm not so much used to that. I want to go out again, and that caused issue. And I feel like, I'm the man in this house. I'm married. I should be able to do what I want to do. But you got to a point, and I had to ask myself and say, okay, if if I don't want my kids to go through what I went through, then I need to change, because I need to understand who I'm married to. Because what a lot of people tend to say is, oh yeah, the wife should be doing this. This is what wife does. No, each each relationship differs from the other one, because you need to understand who you're married to and make that work according to who you're married to. You can't take one principle and apply it to all. It doesn't work. To me, that's a recipe for disaster. Because if I had stood by my understanding of, okay, I want to do what I want to do. I won't be here today. So I had to reorientate myself and understand that, okay, there's more to it than just trying to do things my way. So my understanding going into it was, okay, I'm married now. Yeah, I'll do, I don't want to say I'll do whatever I want to do, but I can get away with a lot of stuff. But my wife wasn't used to that kind of life, which
Okay.
caused issue at a very early stage of our marriage. So
Okay.
I had to now ask myself question, why are we having these issues? What can I do better? Because what she's saying to me is valid. But at that point, I refuse to see it because I just want to do what I want to do.
Okay.
So I had to understand where she was coming from and
Mhm.
say, okay, how can I change? And I'm not sitting down here saying I've already understood what marriage is all about. I'm still learning. Like I said, I'm still at a very, very early stage.
Okay.
So for me, what I would say is the key thing is understanding who you're married to. You can't just take the same principle and say, this one's wife, this one's husband, that's what they do. You do not understand who that woman is. You don't know her background. You don't know what she's gone through. Because my belief is everyone, we are a product of our environment. The way we see life is different to the way the next person sees life. So you can't just take that blanket statement and apply it. So, which was the mistake I made at a very early stage.
So let me pause you for a while now. So
Yes, ma'am.
the idea was at the initial stage, it was like you felt you were in charge. And really you are in charge because actually God commands that the man is the head of the home. The
Yeah,
only thing is just that the way you managed your leadership became different.
that's right.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
you had to ask
Absolutely.
yourself some questions in order to make your wife happy.
Absolutely.
Am I right?
That's absolutely, that's,
Okay.
you
So
couldn't have
you still
explained
remain
any
the head
better.
of the home. The
Absolutely.
leadership is still there.
Yes,
The only thing is the way you have been managing
that's right.
is different from the way you
That's
started.
right. That's
Okay.
right. And
Thank you very
unfortunately,
much.
unfortunately, that's the men of our age. We refuse to. Some people refuse to learn and see. It's not just the fact that we're leaders doesn't mean we can just walk all over and just do things our way.
Okay. So
That's
which means we also need to give consideration to the wife in
absolutely,
order for the home to be happy.